Plantation. This chapter is inspired by the Venus flytrap, Dionaea muscipula. What did I ever do to you? Exhibit number 1 is a line from a movie called The Little Shop of Horrors. It's a movie wherein an inadequate flower assistant grafts a monstrous plant. One of the species of this graft is the Venus flytrap. Now the plant, this monstrous plant, feeds itself on human blood and flesh and has enormous teeth. Its first victim is Orin Scravello. He is an abusive and a narcissist dentist, and these are his last words. What did I ever do to you? Exhibit number 2, grafting. Grafting is a horticultural technique used to join 2 or more plants so that they appear to grow as one single plant. So you take one piece, like a root from one plant, and that's called the stock, and then you take a cut or a shoot from another plant, and so they will grow as one plant. The benefits of grafting is that they can have more fruits, they have a longer life, and they have a better pest resistance. Grafting in Scottish slang means flirting or seducing. Exhibit number 3 is a book written by Charles Darwin in 1875, and the title of the book is Carnivorous Plants. In this book he describes all kind of very cruel experiments on the Drosera rotundifolia. That's a carnivorous plant that is native to our regions. Now he pours liquid toxins on the plant, he makes it eat glass, and he stuffs it with hair. Linnaeus, a scientist, who lived before Darwin, called carnivorous plants miraculum naturae, miracles of nature. And by doing that, he actually denied the possibilities of such plants. Because, of course, this would blur his classification. According to Linnaeus, there ought to be a neat distinction between the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. The absence of an ordering system always leads to horror. But back to Darwin. Darwin, he finds some glands inside carnivorous plant that produces certain kind of engines that helps digestion. But there is no real digestive tract, and there is certainly no teeth. Exhibit number 4. I am not hungry now. It's a line from a movie called The Girl with All the Gifts. We are in the near future now. Humankind has seriously been ravaged by a monstrous fungus that turns people into emotionless and brainless flesh-eating creatures. And these creatures, they munch on everything, like rats, kittens, and also other human beings. So actually they are cannibals. The hope of humankind lies in a small group of second-generation kids that are infected by the fungus. They have the fungus wrapped around their spine like ivy around an oak tree. But the kids still have emotions, feelings, and intelligence. Melanie is one of them. She holds up her protective mask to show that she has eaten and that she's not dangerous anymore. Do you actually remember the last scene of the Day of the Triffids? Church bells are ringing and all the Triffids are killed and humankind was saved. Now, apparently, a lot has happened between the movie of 1962 and the miniseries of 2009, because we thought that this nightmare was over, but there were some nasty little triffids that were hiding in the bush in Congo. And in the miniseries, we get a flashback to African masks and the sound of drums and dense jungle. Yeah, you know the atmosphere. And men were smart, because these little triffids, they could not hide for so long. We caught them in this jungle, we genetically modified them, and we forced them into plantations to serve humankind. We milked them. And the oil that was produced, that replaced gasoline, and this helped to convert climate change and saved the earth. And the triffids, they became man's best friend. And this is the voiceover actually of the opening scene. The triffids became man's best friend, but man did not see the consequences. Exhibit number 6. The process of vulcanization. In 1844, Goodyear invents the process of vulcanization. So vulcanization of rubber, that's the process actually that allows rubber to withstand heat and cold. And this was super good news for King Leopold II, because he robbed already the whole Congo from all its ivory, and he was looking for some new ways to finance his adventure. Now, rubber vines were abundant in the Congolese jungle. But there was a small problem with these Congolese rubber vines, because they could not easily be domesticated into plantations. So a brutal work regime was installed to domesticate, enslave, and torture the people. Right hands were cut off. Exhibit number 7. A painting by Hector Hippolyte. The title, Zombies, in the collection of the National Museum of Port-au-Prince. In Haitian voodoo religion, slaves, it was believed that slaves that committed suicide, their soul could not return to Africa, and they were actually condemned to roam and work as undead slaves, as zombies on the plantations for eternity. So they would roam for the rest of their so-called lives in the twilight zone between life and death. Exhibit number 8. I lost my arm on my last trip home, my left arm. This is the first words of Ada. It's the main character in a book of Octavia Butler called Kindred. And the book tells the story of Ada, a young Afro-American woman who finds herself being teleported in time between her Californian home in 1976 and a pre-Civil War Maryland plantation, where she would meet her ancestors. Our forefathers were shrubs. Exhibit number 9. A movie called The Venus Flytrap. We have a frustrated scientist, Dr. Bragan. He crossbreeds a monstrous plant and he lifts it up to the sky, where he waits for the lightning to come. It's alive, it's alive, it's alive, it's alive. I analyzed your hair and I found that the carbon in it originates from corn. Huh? How did this corn end up in our hair? King Corn documentary. Exhibit number 11. The Ruins. It's a film by Carter Smith. So we have four young Americans, and they are exploring the Amazonian jungle. They are totally off the beaten track, and they heard about a Mayan ruin. A ruin actually of a Mayan temple. And they find the temple and they see the temple and it's full, it's overgrown with plants, with vines. It's like a beating heart of vines. The local people, the natives, they warn them for the dangers, but the Americans, of course, they don't listen to them. So they climb on the temple that is actually a pyramid and they hold on the vines and they stand on the top of the temple. We are Americans. And slowly but surely, the vines crawl under their skin and they are possessed by plants and becomes itchy and they don't know where to go anymore and they become totally nuts and they start to like cut themselves because they want to take the vines out. And the three of them die. And Amy is the last survivor. She can escape. So she takes her car and she looks into the back mirror because she thinks she's followed by plants. So she looks into the back mirror and she sees a little vine crawling under her left eye. We are the children of the corn. We believe in the one who walks behind the rose. We killed all our parents because adults are bad for planet Earth. I am Joshua, the leader, and I stick my tongue into the ear of my adoptive mother. And I whisper, we are the seeds. We are about to grow strong and spread all over the world. And the unbelievers shall be consumed.